And we are live. Peace, 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 and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot, and I got a special treat. I was telling y'all about my soul sister yesterday, well, this morning for y'all who was up with me at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, my sister Angie just coming through here, like this. It's so beautiful and remarkable, as we ascend and go different places and spaces in life. Some people that they got money out of this world. They ain't never got to worry about no money for the rest of their life. But they ain't got nobody that can verify their life existence prior to the money. You see what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
wherever they are, whatever kind of modalities they're gonna got pushed into, they can no longer have an opportunity to even, you know, relate with their own families
Right.
anymore. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times. So it's remarkable and refreshing to say I could go back 25 years and get some of my fam. You understand what I'm saying? Some of them seeing me in the street as a knucklehead, as a militant, as whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Like so, I definitely got one precious jewel here with us today to share some of her experiences and show some love because she always been showing love ever since I known her. She ain't take nobody's shit down. But always been one to show love. So we here to meet this remarkable woman, this remarkable mother, and this one with a heart of gold and a spirit of service. So let's welcome to the microphone Miss Angie Smith in the building. What's going on, Miss Angie?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, feel like you got this big old smile on my face. I really appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
It's love. It's all love. I seen you out here doing what you doing, and I was like, man, she look. Is that Ange from around the way? Like that touched my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
LL said he needed it around the way, girl. You understand what I'm saying? Back in the day, you know what I
That's
mean?
my
Like, so
song
you get
too back then.
you get a chance to see, your fam from around the way doing uh, notable and great work. You see what I'm saying? So, for the few people that's out here that may not be familiar with you, take a moment to introduce yourself to the fam and, let's get busy.
All right. Well, peace and love to everybody out there. As you already heard, my name is Angie Smith, and I'm better known as Miss Angie. I've been in the education field for, I want to say, about 15 years.
Mm,
I specialize in working with prison reentry, at-risk youth, and currently I'm the director of admissions for a vocational school called the National Career Institute, which is in my hometown, East Orange, as well as Jersey City. So,
mm,
I've taught parenting classes through the March of Dimes, becoming a mom program. I really just try to put myself in a position where I can be of assistance, and that's why, like, I'm usually like the lady that knows a lot of people. Like, if I can't help you, I definitely know somebody that can. So I try to, like, just put myself out there, and I also do a podcast on 15 Minutes of Fame Radio called Two Oxtails and an Empanada, and we usually run every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. But due to what's going on with the pandemic, we've kind of taken a hiatus. But we are definitely going to be returning back. And when we do, I would like to see if I could get you to come on our show.
You already know. I'll be honored. I would be honored. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up together, and who would know from where we were? You understand
Mm-hmm.
what we would be doing later on in life, you know. Uh,
Right.
I did a whole bunch of stuff before now, including 5 years of war, the
Yes.
military, all of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, so the fact of reintegration back to society, back to your family. It's
Mm-hmm.
been times I came home from war. They was like, "Yo, you over there killing babies," and I had to deal with all that kind of shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was not
Yeah, absolutely.
the, those reactions in regards to the unknown. So the
Right.
space filler fills in the unknown. So that relatable experience to what you've been dealing with. My
Right.
niche march is at risk youth as well. You see what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I was an at risk youth. You see what I'm saying? Like, going to Fort Dix to the military school and
Oh yes, I
all of
did
that.
Fort
You
Dix
know what
too.
I'm
I did
saying?
Fort
Like,
Dix
yeah,
too.
yeah. So like, that was what, 96
Yeah.
to 97. That's when I went. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, um, with that kind of situation, looking at your niche in regards to who you chose to work with,
Right.
reentry and at-risk youth, can we share that motivation for
Yeah.
that right there.
Well, for me, especially when it came to at-risk youth, I feel that the best way to work with somebody and to get somebody to kind of see a different side of the street, if you will, is if you've been through it. I mean, studies even show that, it's usually better for an individual that may have experienced being an at-risk youth, or let's say may have experienced being incarcerated, or have experienced a situation indirectly because of those, situations, that you're able to give something back to people that are in that moment at that time. Like, I'm not in it, but they're in it now, and I can kind of identify with them. I mean, I come from a single parent household. My mother did the best that she could. She had a couple of things that she had to deal with in her life, but she did always keep a roof over our head. But there were things that were missing and lacking, and that's not to take away from her. But as an adult now, I can understand it. But I understand the emotions that I went through and the choices I made during that time as well. With prison reentry, because I've had so many friends, my father, family members that have been directly affected by, being a part of the system. I understood from my standpoint as a daughter or a cousin or whatever, how it impacted me. Like, it took a father out of my life. It kind of made me see life in a different way, make certain choices maybe I shouldn't have made. So when I do go to the reentry portion, I always try to tell people I might not be the one that was behind the walls, but I could be a representation of the person that I might become because you're not there. And you better hope that whatever you're doing to your child or your family members, your loved ones, when you're gone, you better hope they see the light on the other side, because they can follow your footsteps. So it's like almost giving them a little leverage of hope to see, like, people can come through the storm, but you got to have self accountability, and you got to be able to take the first step. So it was real interesting when you were talking about, how you had to come back into the society with civilians versus you being, in the military, and then having to take, when transition is not easy in any phase that we have in life. And I think that's where I like to help people transition. I think that's one of my favorite words. I'm always saying it. So, yeah.
It's a lifelong transition. It's a
It,
lifelong transition. I was speaking at a youth detention center, and I told all of the young men, I said, close your eyes. I said, raise your hand if you never
hold
met your
on, I can't
father.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Wait a minute. I think the audio. Okay.
Mic check, mic check.
I can't hear you. That call did it.
Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Normally, if you
Yeah.
get like a call or something, it'll knock the sound out.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I'm
Got
saying?
you.
Yeah. So what I was saying, like being there with the youth at the youth detention center, I said, close your eyes. I said, raise your hand if you never met your father.
Mm.
You know, and people are raising their hands. I said, picture your father, someone who's supposed to be there for you, someone who's supposed to love you, teach you how to be a man, give you that rites of passage, give you those skills.
Right.
I said, your father couldn't be in your life because I'm about to go see your father now. After I leave y'all, he's incarcerated. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? So he couldn't be there for you, and they're waiting for you to come to that that place to be a career criminal. So I'm in there with the adults. I'm in there with the men. I said, close your eyes, raise your hand if you've never seen your children before. I just
Right.
left your son. They're in the youth detention. You see what I'm saying? They're preparing their criminal history
Yes.
to come join you as adults and to raise your grandchildren to become criminals. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when we start talking about reentry, we got to talk about recidivism and breaking those cycles and knowing that even in the position that you're in, like your position is kind of like against the law. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're denying these private institutions that labor and the capital that's gained from that labor. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You know, and the cycle of in the ritualization of those things that come along with prestige for your peer group of going to prison. You see what I'm saying? You like, oh
Right.
yeah, yeah, such as, how long we heard this shit forever? Like, yo, such and such just came home, son. We about to go see son. He just came home. Like, how many times did we hear that? You see what I'm saying?
A
How
thousand.
many times
Right.
did we see that from generation to generation? You see what I'm saying? Like little
Right.
children, little snot nosed children, they kill us now. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, who, what,
You
where,
know
what?
what?
You see? So like,
I saw a picture on Facebook that I found to be very interesting. It was a picture of a young boy and his brother going to see his father in jail.
his father,
And then the
right,
father was like, Bill, take a picture, my boys, I love them, blah, blah,
right,
blah.
right.
And then, let's say 15 or 16 years later, well, no,
Mm-hmm.
actually 18 years later, the father
Right.
is now visiting his son in
Son,
jail.
right.
And you looked in the father's face. He had so much guilt
Mm-hmm.
in his face, it wasn't even funny. And even like in the world that we're in right now, the climate we're in, with this COVID-19, we got to start breaking some chains. Because if we don't, we're gonna be can I curse on here?
Of course.
Oh, no, we're gonna I always like to ask, we're gonna be shit out of luck. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be shit out of luck because you got people still, like, I don't understand how is it still murdering going on during the damn pandemic?
Right.
Like, and I mean, children are missing.
Right.
People are some people, their jobs have laid them off. They're trying to get on unemployment. Do you know that some people will not be able to get unemployment until September? That's how backed up the system is. That you might process your claim right now and not
Mm-hmm.
even receive any money until September. What the hell you going to do? But in the meantime,
Right.
and it's scary because now what's happening is it's going to put you in that mindset of surviving. That's when logic and everything goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well,
Right.
if I don't have food to feed my kids, when I see you come out the supermarket, you might get robbed. Or even walking down the street on a nice day like today and not having a mask on without getting your eyes rolled at you. They didn't say
Right.
we couldn't take in fresh air. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the climate we're in right now. If we don't break some of these generational curses, we're not gonna survive. We're just not.
For sure.
It's almost scary. Georgia, people don't realize Georgia is like the black Mecca, right? You can take
Right.
$2,000-3,000, go down to Georgia, and you get you a wonderful place to stay and help start a damn business. If you black, it
Mm.
is money to be made down there. Why is it that they wanted to open up the nail salons and the hair salons and all of this shit in areas that are going to be geared towards what they think are urban people?
Right.
And then when they do this shit, then people getting sick.
Mm.
They want to break down our capital. But what be the first place to do it would be Atlanta.
Right.
you know, I mean, there's a lot of pathologies that's going on over, in that area too. I mean, we could go on day for day for it, but I'm just thinking about like where we're at now, like what's going to happen after everything comes back, like the economy. What did we learn from this particular moment right now? Like the one thing I've learned is that is you got to rely on them small businesses. People talk
That's right.
about it, but it's true that you got to, because those are another part of essential workers. They'll still be out here. You got a lot of different eateries between East Orange, Newark, Irvington, Maplewood, Montclair, mom and pop companies, they are delivering food. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, you might have to go to a bigger chain. You got to go through a DoorDash or, you know, somewhere you got to order your food. You got to pay another fee to another giant. So you got to support your businesses. You got to.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is so real and so crucial. You see what I'm saying? Like, even when, you know, on my platform, you know, sometimes in regards to support, like I'm here, you know, strictly for our people. I ain't here for nobody else. You see what I'm saying? Trying to get, you know, people to come on to talk about what they do. This is what you do. If you're a small business, you're in business. You see what I'm saying? Like, people, you need to know, like, this is a global platform. You see what I'm saying? So brothers and sisters are here about what you do all over the planet, literally. You see what I'm saying? So whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Northern Africa, East, West Africa, South Africa, or any other place on the planet, they tune in here. You see what I'm saying? Black folks tune into this all over the planet. And some of the things that I could say is positive about this situation is that small businesses have popped up out of nowhere. People are making hand sanitizer, people are making masks, people are making all kinds of stuff.
Yes,
you see what I'm saying? So, like, right. So, you know, you could see like a gift and a curse in the situation.
Yes.
I'm just looking for the follow through and sustainability in regards to getting the word out. Like, okay, like all your friends done bought everything you done did. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so now let's broaden the base and let's get this out in the global marketplace. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This I could see as a reason for a preemptive type of situation to open back up the country because they're not benefiting from anything that's being shipped out, like maybe freight. You see what I'm saying in regards to that, but nobody else is benefiting from that. You see what I'm saying? So if you know if those postal situations, whether it's mainstream or third party postal situations, if they're benefiting from it, nobody else is. You see what I'm saying? That's it. Like, oh, I'm shipping this out, shipping that out, shipping this out, shipping that out. But these other places, they took a big financial hit, even though they got stock options, so they didn't lose anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Most of them places they got stock options, so they're they even if the stock bottoms out, they got them options that'll kick over to where they get 3 times as much as the stock would have been. In some cases, up to 10 times as much the stock would have been worth, at its optimal height. So big business never loses. You see what I'm saying? But everybody else on the lower rungs, this is what it is. So if you could do this creativity, in a crisis, you can do this normal. So now you just got to put that promotion, thing together so people can, they know where to get these things from. You see what I'm saying?
You know what I like to say? I like to say that we live in a fast food society. Because we want everything instantaneously. Like, I want it right now because we pay taxes, and the way that technology goes and everything, you can get everything within a snap. Whereas now we've been halted. We really can't move. All of our steps are really counted as far as the supermarket, maybe a hospital, but you're not really going no further than that right now. And it gives us time to think. So I agree with you. The creativity is wonderful, and people like really coming together is great. I'm just hoping that once everything is lifted, we don't just go back to being so subservient, and then it's just like, here, everything's right in front of you, and then you forget all of this. Because I'm telling you, but I will say this, all small businesses, whatever township, municipality that they're in, they need to go to their website or go to irs.gov. They have a lot of different small business options and grants. They really do. And even with education right now, like usually, like with my school, we have financial aid. We work with agencies, but financial aid is like a real complex situation. But right now, the Department of Education is like, listen, we're not even asking you to pay nothing back right now. We know that it's important that you get a skill. I think that's why I like what I do so much, because I promote the medical field, I promote the trade field. And I'm trying to tell people, listen, all these people ain't got no jobs out here. Their life has been halted, but those guys and them women that are in those particular fields, they got work. You're
They're
going to
still working.
always need them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
if you can go to school, you know, and gain a skill, I tell anybody, go ahead and get your degree. That's all good and well, but you need a skill. This is the United States. Everything is
Right.
based off of what your skill is and what you can do
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, I guess make society better, or what is it that you're going to contribute. But you need something that's going to help you pay these bills. You know, it's really been hurting my heart to see how a lot of people have been financially affected by this. Even a lot of companies have went belly up. This happened in like
Right.
the middle of March. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We haven't even touched May. That just goes to show you how much the small businesses really depend on the general public. Those,
Right.
like you said, them big wigs, they got credit. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So if anything fails, they could just go to the other side. But
And if you
I
look
think,
at a production kind of standpoint too,
yeah,
they're smaller businesses, they're contract positions and the like that depend on those contracts and also depend on that skilled labor to make things happen for big business. You see what I'm
right,
saying? Like
right,
Boeing went belly up in this process. Boeing, you understand what I'm saying? Because Boeing subcontracts out so much of its work to so many small businesses. You see what I'm saying? So many
yeah,
manufacturing plants, whether they're small or large, minority business plants, that when all of that stuff closed down in that hub place in Washington, you see what I'm
yeah,
saying? It erupted for the whole company to feel the effects. So whether it was in Carolina, whether it was in Alabama, wherever they were, and wherever they were going, because they were expanding into that global market, you can't go. You see what
right,
I'm saying? Because you don't do that just in time manufacturing. You contract that out. You see what I'm saying? So look how many other places will be affected. Now, even look at this meat situation with Tyson and all these other places.
oh yeah. Tyson
Again,
said
there are
they all got it.
other right. There are other places that are affected, not just the big name, everything else in between. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking if this stuff comes into one place, it's live and it gets done in the same place, you foolish. You see what I'm saying? So that stuff gets shipped in and all of that. And then you have to prepare, you got to put your whole little stuff in that process, and that takes manpower and man hours. You see what I'm saying? So all these
Right.
things are affected by that.
So and so you're right. It really is a gift and curse with the whole situation. Like, you know, one thing I am happy to see, people are eating healthier
Mm,
out of
right.
fear. It's a damn shame. You gotta get the you gotta be scared to death, literally,
Right.
before you decide to go ahead and try sea moss, or take some
Right.
vitamin C, or take different types of herbs, elderberry. I mean, when you all you gotta do is go on social media. People are
Right.
so afraid. They'll even try shit without even knowing what its health properties are or benefits. They just want to try it because
Mm,
they're afraid of dying. But it is good to see people, putting it out there, like, you know, eating healthy. It's not just about taking a whole bunch of medication. Understand that medication is just something to get you by. It doesn't
right.
heal. So
Right.
that's always a good thing. I mean, the downside, child abuse, sexual abuse, and domestic violence has
Violence. Yep.
skyrocketed,
Yeah. Right.
skyrocketed. And it's like, it's already bad enough that it was already going on, coupled with the anxiety of COVID and what it means to us in our living situation right now. My heart really feels so bad, because you have a lot of people right now living in complete hell behind this. They really are. And again, um, if somebody is going through that, um, they need to dial 411, or you know, it's you can't really give out complete instructions on what to do when you're talking about abuse, because you don't know what the level of the abuser,
Right.
like what's the level of
Right.
control. But if you
Right.
can't get out, you can tell somebody, please do. You can always go to a lot of the non-for-profit agencies are still somewhat open. They got skeleton crews. Try to see if there's somewhere nearby is a clinic, somewhere the fire department, anywhere that would have a public service worker. If you could get
Right.
to them, do so. It's really something. I'm anticipating what's going to happen after, Because like right now, the world is just going off of videos on social media and how they
Right.
pointing the finger at Trump. Let me ask you a question. This is off topic. What do you think of
Ain't no such thing.
what do you what do you think of and this is something I observed. President Trump suspended the WHO organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know they were ready to go. Well, they are down there, but they wanted to go down to Africa and test out, you know, all these different tests on the people down there. And President Trump said it didn't make no sense if they're not sick.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going down there to do testing down there? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But and I noticed that I saw some of my favorite artists because he suspended them, which means they can't touch those government funds. So now they got the celebrities doing concerts for them and saying the proceeds go here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with President Trump suspending who?
Well, my military mind and understanding psychological operations from a particular point is I can push this button to where I'm still talking, but they only see you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still talking. You can hear me, right? They can hear
Right.
me, but they only see you. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? So as long as we're doing this together, they see us both. You understand what I'm saying? So if I say, hey, I'm not dealing with them, they're no longer there. You see what I'm saying? It's called plausible
Yes.
deniability. So I can say that you heard me vocally say that I have nothing to do with this, and this doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Go.
Right.
Oh, was my mic still? You understand what I'm saying? I know
understand.
that militaristically. You see what I'm saying? He's one that does not really follow the script, but he has a script. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
because
I
he
like that.
comes from the business world, he
Yes.
doesn't come from the world of politics. Big business funds politics. So they're used to dictating terms in regards to the support. Because if you don't have lobbyists or anything like that, you're not in the ear of the politician. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
this is funded and they come to the businesses. This is why they have a political campaign. They come to the community. They come to the community where people have decision-making power via their dollar and their voting strength.
Yes.
So if you don't own where you live, if you don't own your home, you have no effect on the local economy or the
Yes.
national economy. You see what I'm saying? If you don't make over a certain amount, your taxes, you're a taxpayer, but your taxes don't go to anything that makes any kind of impact,
Right.
whether it's local or it's national. You understand what I'm saying? And they have foreign policy, so even up to global. So if I can publicly denounce this and say this, they can now operate with impunity in secret. And if it comes back to me, I can say I had nothing to do with it. You
Absolutely.
understand
I
what I'm
completely
saying? So,
understand.
so even though he's a businessman, he understands that fine art of closing the deal. Like
Right.
if you remember when he came in, he was like, "Let's see if we have any more room in the deal," because that's business speak. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying?
That's
That's
definitely
corporate
business.
America
Yep.
speak. So if you go to a car lot and you start dictating terms, the language starts to change because it's like, oh, okay, they know what they're talking about. Well, let's see what's left over in the deal. The salesman is the salesman. He don't got nothing to do, or she doesn't have anything to do with the finance department. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So when you go into the finance department, they're doing the numbers and blah 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 blah. He knows the art, or she knows the art of the deal and the close. Now the finance or how these other things are going to get done, that's another department. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? So their way into Africa, they don't need a way into Africa. There are
Yeah.
52 out of the 54 countries in Africa. The United States military is in 52 of them.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to go a certain kind of way, they could go. You see what I'm saying? And do what they got to do. But they have to operate clandestinely, not U.S. sanctioned. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Even though they're sent, right? And there's nothing going on, right? What they say, there's nothing going on, but they're in 52 countries on the continent. And then you got Asia over there. Then you got the rest of the planet over
Oh
there.
yes.
So all of these things are going on at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah.
look at that and you look at the situation with Asia, particularly China, where this is supposed to be ground zero from, and their relationship
Right.
to the African continent, what it was versus what it is, and where that leaves the U.S. You see what I'm saying? So that there's a lot of push and pull, a lot of smoke and mirrors, and a lot of other things that are going on that don't pass like the regular common sense test, but the distractions are there to keep you in a certain kind of space, whether it's in a fear space or it's a space of, you know, I don't give a fuck what happened. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Nah, right. You're absolutely right.
so all of that's all together in there. And that World Health Organization, the CDC, and all these other places, like we grew up, we seen outbreak. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we seen outbreak and all this other shit. Like we lived through a drug, chemical and biological warfare time
Well,
frame.
really, yeah, you gotta
You
think
see what
about
I'm
it. Yeah, we were
saying?
going through the crack
Like
era.
we lived through it, like through AIDS, through
AIDS,
HIV,
the AIDS pan,
through
yeah,
crack, through
AIDS was a
heroin, through
pandemic
meth,
within
right?
itself.
All of that. Yeah, all of those things. We lived through them. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, so it was a whole situation where they were saying all of these deaths were related to AIDS. Like they did with this. You see what I'm saying? Like
Oh
we
yes, I
literally
mean
lived
everything.
through it.
You could have broke your damn leg. You go in the
Right,
hospital, they're like, oh, it wasn't broken. You got corona. So
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, you're
Right.
absolutely right.
But they just did it with AIDS, like just did it, like literally. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was just in the 80s. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
it's children that weren't even born yet. You see what I'm saying? Like, so like these things in regards to that. But these things are strikingly real. So look at the relationship to AIDS and HIV in the immune system, and look at the relationship to COVID in the immune system. Same way.
Oh yeah, no, right,
You know
absolutely,
what
and
I'm saying?
and and this is like a hybrid strain because it's always the coronavirus itself always been around, and it actually started. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it came from animals. The original coronavirus came from animals, right? So it's like, well,
Not them
damn,
damn animals again. It
and
was
it's
a blue
animals. So,
monkey with AIDS. You understand? It was a blue
uh-huh.
monkey with AIDS, like or a green monkey, whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? But this is the kind of conversation that's surrounding the whole thing, and it looks exactly the same. It
Yes,
looks
yeah.
exactly the
I
same.
have to agree with you. It really does because my thing is it's a respiratory disease and affects the respiratory system, just like pneumonia.
Mhm.
The flu that can turn into pneumonia.
Right.
Both viruses have killed a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you're right. We've been through these pandemics. It's just something to see it now, and then it's almost like it's targeting certain age groups. Like the
Mhm.
highest cases are literally like between, I want to say like mid 20s to like late 30s, but the fatalities are starting from 60 and up. Because
Hmm.
of compromised immune systems, and it's really something. I
We
think
went
that's
through
what it
that.
is. You gotta think
Even with
about it.
remember
Because you got
chicken
to think
pox?
about it. When we went through the AIDS pandemic,
Yeah.
we were children.
Right. Right.
We adults
Right.
now.
Right.
Okay.
It was the same. Remember, chicken pox was killing everybody. Like we grew up through that. You see what I'm saying?
Yo,
Like chicken pox was like,
I had
yo,
I had chicken
like
pox.
right, right,
I
right.
had this. One of my classmates gave it to me.
Yeah.
Went to
Everybody in
school.
my house had it. I was the last one to have it, and I was the worst one with it. You see what I'm saying? And I was
Yeah.
like everybody else got babied, and they got to stay home, and they got all the good treatment. I still had to go to the store. I still had to wash clothes, all that.
Get
You see
that
what I'm saying?
calamine lotion and that
Yeah, yeah,
oatmeal.
whatever it was. You know, I was so happy to go back to school. I didn't know what to do. Like I was picking them swords off and all that just so I could go back to
Wow.
school. I was going for like 2 days. Everybody else had like a week home, but they was like pampered and all that. I was working.
Yeah, but but then they say if you've ever had the chicken pox, that 9 times that it's a good percentage that when you get older, you'll get shingles.
Right.
I said, you know what? We like little experiments just walking all around.
Right.
I tell you
All
sometimes.
around. Yeah. So all of that together, you see what I'm saying, in regards to what it is. We already, we lived through it. But we get that convenient amnesia because we got the goldfish. Like if it ain't relevant right then, right now, one
Mm-hmm.
second from the bleep to the next bleep to the next bleep. You understand what I'm saying? We don't put nothing together. You know, there were world wars and conflicts that was fought around the globe, and it was still experimenting on black men, black women, and black children in regards to
Yes.
syphilis. Nothing
Yeah.
stopped it. So nothing stopped the onslaught of what's happening to our families, to our youth, to our children, to our elders, whatever the case may be. Nothing has stopped the intensity and veracity for which these outside entities are coming for our people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Nothing has changed. You see what I'm saying? No mass incarceration has slowed down. You understand what I'm
Oh
saying?
no.
No level of abuse, no level of sanction, whatever it is, it
Yeah.
still continues to go. You see what I'm saying? And you
And
got the task of dealing with that. You see what I'm saying? With the reentry. You see what I'm saying? And working with
oh
the at
yes.
risk youth. So,
Yeah.
what was
See
you about to say?
real quick, when it comes to the COVID with our people, if you think about it, remember when it first, well, from our knowledge, it first hit,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, oh, people of color can't get it, right? People of color can't get it. It's the melanin, and they,
Right,
yeah, well, that's
right,
just white
right,
people and shit. Now
right,
they're reporting that the highest percentage of people that have actually contracted it are black people. Because I got
right,
to take away the people of color because that's general. Let me be
right.
more specific. Black
Yeah,
people.
please. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and that's because I'm in so many different environments. At times, I have to always keep certain terms in my head because I don't
Right.
believe in offending. But yeah,
Bless your heart. Bless your
yeah.
heart.
Now but when it comes to the reentry and the at-risk youth, yes, the main problem with them sometimes is the self-accountability part. Because once you're able to be accountable for your actions, that's when you're able to break away from the demons.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you talk to a lot of brothers and sisters that are behind bars that are not ready to make that move yet, it's everybody else's fault but theirs. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, damn. It's the damn crossing guard's fault before it's theirs. It's like, well, what does she have to do with it? But it's no self accountability. And I know, and one thing I've learned in the struggle of wanting to be one of those people that are going to empower or help my people, you can't save everybody. And I used to get really upset when I felt like I
Right.
couldn't reach, or you know I couldn't help this man or woman make this breakthrough. And I had to understand that I literally was just there to assist them. If they didn't take it, they didn't take it. And the
Right.
revolution will not be televised. And it's unfortunate that you can't save everybody. I may go into a room and speak to, let's say, 60 inmates. If I
Mm-hmm.
could reach 2 to 3 of them inmates and they do a complete 360, hell, even if it was just one,
It's a
my job,
miracle.
my
Right.
purpose was served. Hopefully I cross the
Mm-hmm.
other one's paths again and do what I'm supposed to do. But until then, you know, it's a shame because there's so much pathology already within our community,
Right.
along with a hidden agenda to keep that pathology going. So it's just
Right.
like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, with certain things. But
And healing from trauma and drama. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
healing
right.
from both
Trauma and drama.
trauma and drama, ancestral trauma, and social drama. You
You
understand
ain't
what
never
I'm saying?
lied.
Like
You ain't never lied. You are very, I mean, shit. If we really was to sit here and literally break down the
I got it. Oh, I
the
got one for you. I
problem
was
of
listening to Echo.
black people, like I saw something that I thought was interesting. When they took the term African American, so it was like you're
Mm-hmm.
African enough to not know where you came from, and you're
Mm-hmm.
American enough to not matter.
Right. Not get the privilege. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
privilege. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn. Because black people don't know what to call. We don't know what to call ourselves. We know we black, we African American, we're Afro American, we're
Mm-hmm.
Moors, it's
Right.
so it's so many labels.
Everything got a place. You just have to know how to use all of those weapons. If you could
That's
use
right.
that and weaponize it, you see what I'm saying? Like I had people from all different, uh, spiritual inclinations that come through this platform. You see what I'm saying? Whether they're
Yes.
Muslim, Christian, Moor, Nuwabian, Hebrew, whatever. You see what I'm
I
saying? And
saw
this is
that.
a
I like that.
sanctuary for them. You see what I'm saying? This is a sanctuary for them because it's not a situation. There's not a pit of one against another one. You see what I'm saying? If I don't know the language of law, if I don't know the color of law, and I'm walking into a courtroom, I'm asked out. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
why can't I use those skills? You see what I'm saying? Why can't I use those skills? I seen it transform the whole situation in the courtroom. I just went to the courtroom with a speeding ticket and I knew what to say to the judge because I got there early and I'm sitting there listening to this public defender with a caseload stacked this high. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying? Go through all of these tickets. Like he not even looking at the judge and ain't even no real interaction. He just came in there with that cheap suit. You understand what
bam.
I'm saying? And went through the van. He went through like 30 of them. She's like, nice try. You're not going to get these two. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can't do it. You see what I'm saying? So it's a deal. So it ain't the people wasn't there. Their folders was there. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, okay, so I had to go before the judge. It's not like no other state. I was in Washington State at the time, to where if the cop don't show up, they throw out the ticket. No, the
Right.
judge is the damn cop. You understand, for every case.
Okay.
And I saw the separate society shit go right before my eyes. This lady came up to me, she was like, this was a new vehicle and I didn't really know how to operate it and da 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 da. And she was like, oh, I believe you. Next. You understand what I'm saying? So that merit of innocence was not extended to everybody who came before them. You see what I'm saying? Like I seen it go with each one. So when it was my turn, I knew damn well it wasn't no, situation of any kind of heartfelt justice. Like, no, I had to use the language. You see what I'm saying? And they count on you coming in at your court time and not no time before that because you just up there and you don't know what to say. So now you look
Right.
like a bumbling idiot, and that's a justification for you to be taken, for you to be exploited, for you,
Right.
to be snatched up. So if you're dealing with people who can astutely help you in those processes and those manners, why would you discount them? You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So everybody has a piece of the puzzle. Nobody has the puzzle. You see what I'm
That's right.
saying? So I let everybody come and do what they need to do in that regard, in this respect, do. You see what I'm saying? I let everybody go
I
do what they
love that
gotta do.
concept. I do because spirituality is more of a connection versus I would even just say a religion, which is kind of a man-made. Here's this, and you follow these rules, and not to say that that's not right nor wrong, because I have a lot of friends of different religions, and one of my friends, he's Muslim. He's what he said.
Mhm.
He said to me stood out the most. He said, if the Creator called me to be a Christian, I would be the best Christian. If the Creator called me to be a Muslim, I'd be the best Muslim. If the Christian, if the Creator called me to be a Jew, I'd be the best Jew. So it's it's something like that that lets me know that you connected spiritually with what you chose, you and the Creator. Y'all made
Right.
that connection. So I definitely can respect that because I don't have a denomination. I was brought up Catholic. I knew from
Mhm.
a kid I didn't agree with the religion. I started seeking out another religion like around 15 years old and started getting into Christianity. I didn't really agree with that either. And then my uncle is more, so he used to bring me like certain literature and stuff like that. And I just kind of, me and him would have a lot of conversations and just kind of just do my own learning about different religions and taking what I need to take from it out.
Right.
But I mean, if I walk into a church one day and the pastor is saying a good sermon, then I obviously the Creator wanted me to hear that. That don't mean I'm gonna be
Right.
a member. That don't mean I'm gonna be a member. Don't mean I'm gonna stay to 8 o'clock at night and I'm not gonna put money in all the funds. But I am there to receive the message. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a
Right.
firm believer that Creator puts you where you need to be. So actually, yeah, using your platform for that is so dope. So that's what's up.
Yeah, I walked in everything. You see what I'm saying? Like I walked in everything. Like you see me do a lot of my experiments in my youth. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
That's
I
right.
taught Islam for I taught Islam for 20 years. I fasted in, Iraq and Afghanistan. You understand what I'm saying? Like, my first Ramadan was in July at 7, 8 years old. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so you talking about sun up to sundown. You see what I'm saying? 18, 20 hours of sun. You know what I mean? Like you go do what you got to do. I've been to Mecca and all of that. I don't have no issues with
Wow.
somebody's spiritual inclination. You see what I'm saying? I respect it because there's a life that's connected to it. There's a life form that's connected to it. There's a culture that's connected to it. So I didn't have no issues with no Nuwabians, no Moors, no Christians, no Muslims, no atheists, none of that. You see what I'm saying? I've been in all of them circles, and I studied them from a student perspective, not from a condemning, thou shalt not perspective. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I understand the psychology. If you're dealing with someone that is coming out of a lawless situation, you have to implore law to them at the most basic level. You see what I'm saying? So you have to deal with that psychology to where it's able to switch. And then after it's able to switch, then you can say, okay, this was necessary for this particular period in your life. This is not for the
Right.
rest of your life. You see what I'm saying? You went from lawlessness to adherence to the law. So now we could get into universal principle. You see what I'm saying? So it's like
Yes.
some can elevate and some like, nah,
The
I'm good with this
balance.
right here. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whatever it is, whatever it is, it is, it is what it is. Damn, we done went in the time machine. You know what I'm saying? All that. Did all
Definitely.
that. Before we go, can we talk about some of the services you provide with some of those things, and can we talk about this podcast? You understand what I'm saying? Two
Oh, of
oxtails
course.
and the empanada. Let's. I
All
need to
right.
know.
So,
Man, I need to
yes.
know some stuff.
All right. So, two oxtails and an empanada is a podcast that runs on 15 Minutes of Fame Radio, which is a battle rap station.
Mm,
Um, the premise of the show is kind of like we talk about things that pertain to the culture. We do current events. I do tea. So it kind of gives you like a breakfast club feel. Listen,
right,
listen, I'm
right.
all about balance. I can sit here and talk some good stuff, but I also can say my guilty pleasure is. So, we talk about that, but we
Mm,
also bring in people that are rappers, poets, singers, business owners, whatever you have to showcase. We allow you your 15 minutes of fame
mhm.
on our platform. It's myself. It is my other co-host Paul. We call him Uncle Paulie, and my other it's a couple of us. So you got Smoke from the 201. Originally that program started out with like five guys. Um, I think like
Mm,
maybe a year or so into them doing the show, me and another sister, a friend of mine, they asked us to come on and just be like guest hosts, and we did. We had
yeah.
a good time. And then as time went on, they wanted a female presence, and then they thought about me and they reached out to me, and I've been with them ever since. I love 15 Minutes of Fame Radio. They give us the platform to be able to express ourselves in any way that we want, which I'm
Mm,
so thankful for.
right.
And and we've been doing this for myself. I'm going on my second year, so I like it. I like it. We got good chemistry, and I'm hoping that we get into bigger and better things. We have a decent following and stuff. So, that's what I do right there. And I'm also looking to start a documentary soon, but the virus kind of pumped um my brakes on it. But I'm not really going to go too far into that because I want to really work everything out. But I definitely have something in the makes. And
Right.
what I offer is, like I said, I know of a lot of different resources, whether people need assistance, emergency assistance with housing, PSCNG bills, mental health services, shelters, GED info, testing sites, classes. But at my job, we National Career Institute, which is a Black-owned school, has been around for about 12 years. We have a GED program. You can earn your high school diploma and your trade at the same time. And we take students ages 17 and up. We do electrical and HVAC, plumbing and construction, building maintenance. We provide OSHA 30 certifications. My medical programs, I do clinical medical assistant, patient care tech. They come with externships in the hospital. We have excellent placement people that help you from the time you walk in the door to the time you walk out, because we realize that it's not just about you going to school, but it's about you changing your mindset. So that's why we're a career institute. We want you to treat us like a job, so that we know once we send you out, you know, you're a reflection of us and we're a reflection of you. So we're very family oriented school. My medical program credits can be transferred to certain college institutions. So if you got some brothers and sisters that want to become an RN, they could definitely start out at my school. You know, day, evening classes. We also now, because of COVID, we are part of the remote online learning. So we operate, you know, off of Zoom, Microsoft 365, Cisco WebEx. So, you know, we try to stay up to current. I have nothing but medical doctors in my programs, all medical doctors. My trade instructors are all business owners. Some of them have over 20 years of experience. So, you know, I love what I do. As you can tell by the way I'm explaining everything.
Right.
Because I'm in East Orange, which is where I'm from, and I've seen my program really help people really become successful, and in turn be able to take care of their families and things like that. And then if they need additional services, they always know that they can, you know, contact me. Any at-risk youth kids or parents that are having problems with their kids between the ages of 16 and 25. I know about 2 or 3 programs where I have direct contact with to get your kids in. They can do a 4-month course. They get paid $100 a week. They do community service, and they get high school equivalency training, and they get the test paid for. So for me, it's about who you know, about what you know, but it's about who you know. And I also work with one-stop centers where you can get up to $4,000 for free money for career training. They ain't got to pay for nothing to go to school. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely a lot. But that's my premise. It's really just education and reentry at risk and everything else in between.
That's right. Well, I'm thankful for you coming through here. You know, you're welcome here anytime. You
Thank
understand what
you.
I'm saying? You can keep this video so you can stun them. Like, see, y'all was at home. I got more than 15 minutes of fame. You heard? You understand what I'm saying? I got more than 15 minutes right here. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying?
That's right. That's
You know.
right.
Oh yeah.
So definitely thank you so
Definitely.
much for having me. You know, we're going to talk behind this
Right.
because I want to, you know, kind of pick your brain for some stuff. But thank you for having me. Thank you to the viewers for kind of just listening to us, kind of just catch up on old times, kind of reminisce, and kind of like just build off of certain topics that's important to us, the Black people.
Right. The black people. That's what I'm talking about. So social media, closing remarks, anything, anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to plug, you know what I'm saying, let the fam know before we get up out of
Okay.
here.
Definitely. Well, look, my daughter walking in. Definitely want to shout out National Career Institute. That's my youngest daughter.
Hey,
She's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you.
that's what I'm
uh,
talking
but
about.
but definitely National Career Institute. I want to call out Prodigal Sons and Daughters Redirection Services, International Youth Organization, Bessie Mae Women and Family Health Center, March of Dimes. Um, I'm not calling that school. The city of East Orange. Love the mayor. I mean, Ted Green is the man. Thank you so much for him being the one to run the city. And you know, that's just about it.
All right. And where can they find you social media wise? And where can they
They can
find your
find
show?
me. Well, you can go into 15 Minutes of Fame Radio. That's 15MOFE radio. You can go into YouTube and get 2 oxtails and an empanada. We got plenty of shows up there. So even though we're not on as of right now, you can go up there, you can catch all of our shows. They're very exciting, very entertaining, and very informative. But that show does run every Tuesday at 8 p.m. My Instagram is Little City Love. It's LilCityLove. Y'all will know it's me because of my profile pic. If you want to conversate, build, or you need some assistance, holla at your girl.
All right. Thank you for coming through, showing that love.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? There's always been love. It always will be love. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
Peace.
Peace, peace.